Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a story where the legal world literally collides head-on with just mind-boggling corporate wealth. We're looking at some seriously fascinating objective financial analysis from ABF Investment Research regarding one of the absolute biggest corporate headlines of the year. Okay, let's dive into this, because to truly understand what corporate accountability looks like today, we have to look past the narrative of those shocking headlines and actually sit down and do the math together. $16.7 billion. I mean, wow. When a number that big hits the newswire, it just completely stops you in your tracks, right? Putting on our Wall Street analyst hats for a second here, for almost any company on Earth, a penalty like this would just mean game over. We're talking massive layoffs, aggressive restructuring, or honestly, outright bankruptcy. It is specifically designed to be a catastrophic financial blow. To an everyday observer, an almost $17 billion penalty just sounds absolutely insurmountable.
And, that massive sum is directly tied to something incredibly grave. This is the price Meta is agreeing to pay to settle claims regarding child safety and fundamental public privacy. Let's be unequivocally clear here. Allegations involving the safety and well-being of young people are deeply, deeply disturbing. They represent some of the most serious societal harms imaginable, right? These aren't just administrative hiccups we're talking about, they're devastating issues. Given the severe and unacceptable nature of these harms, you'd naturally expect a historic $16.7 billion penalty to permanently alter the company held responsible.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is where the story takes a fascinating turn. The researchers at Abbey point out a truly wild reality. This penalty sounds enormous until you put it up against what they call the earnings machine. This is where our dramatic legal narrative transforms into a staggering lesson on the sheer scale of modern tech monopolies. We basically have to stop looking at the absolute size of the penalty and start looking at the relentless velocity of the company's revenue generation.
To really understand that scale, we have to look at the financial projections. By the year 2028, ABF expects Meta to generate around $340 million in profit. And guys, I honestly had to double-check this when I first read it. That's not a year, it's not a quarter, it's not even a month. That is $340 million in pure profit every single day. If you break that down, that's over $14 million an hour, day and night, nonstop. This is the sheer velocity we are dealing with. It completely cuts right through the retail noise and just changes the entire conversation.
And this brilliantly illustrates an epic clash between two massive financial forces. On one hand, you have this historic, seemingly insurmountable $16.7 billion punishment. But pushing right back against it is the unstoppable momentum of a $340 million a day profit engine. We are essentially pitting a static, one-time penalty against a relentless daily money machine.
Which brings us to the ultimate question of This Explainer. If we take that massive penalty and divide it by that staggering daily profit, what does this actually look like in terms of time? Just how long does Meta's earnings machine have to run to completely erase a $16.7 billion hit? Let's solve this puzzle together and look at the final data reveal.
So the crucial point is, the math completely pulls the rug out from under that initial shock we felt earlier. Out of a 365-day financial year, paying off that entire $16.7 billion settlement takes just about 49 days of profit. Think about how incredibly narrow that slice of time actually is. A historic penalty aimed at addressing severe societal harms effectively cost the company about a month and a half of work. I mean, it's barely the length of a summer vacation. The remaining 316 days of the year, that's entirely untouched profit.
It leaves us with a pretty profound question to chew on. If a multi-billion-dollar penalty only sets a company back by 49 days, how do we truly measure corporate accountability today? When a business operates on a scale so vast that a $16 billion fine is basically just a speed bump in a single quarter, well, it completely changes how we view financial consequences in the modern world. I hope this narrative breakdown gave you a whole new lens on the headlines. Thanks for joining me for This Explainer, and keep asking the big questions.